Hi, this is the evaluation of the order trading system activity for August the 19th, 2021. We had 6 trades on that day, 4 were buys, 2 were short sells. First trade was M. That's Macy's Incorporated. It tripped at 12:20:01 p.m. Tripped at 21:36. It was a buy. Closed the day at 21.61, up 19.59%. And you can see it's down a little bit, 0.74% today, but it still maintained its rise from yesterday for the most part, so that's pretty good. Okay, let's have a look at the indicators. OBV's okay. It's somewhat upwards in trend, not consistently, as you can see in the afternoon. It was dropping a little bit and coming back up. At least it seemed to be maintaining itself. MACD came up. And you see this afternoon period, middle afternoon, it came down a bit, averages, and then recovered a little bit at the end of the day. DI, you can see it came up here during the tripping period, came up fairly strongly, and then negative a little bit, and back and forth. So that's where you get some sideways movement. And Bollinger Band, same thing, came up and then basically dropped and recovered a little bit. So stock technically was moving upwards, just at the end of the day, not as strong as it was obviously during the beginning of the day. Next trade is GFI. That's Goldfields Limited. Tripped at 12:21:12 p.m. at a price of $8.87. It was a buy. It closed the day at 8.78, up 1.86%. See if there's any opportunity here. Yeah. Tripped right around here. Let's see. 889, 888, 88, 89, and it came down and didn't really do too much here. Okay, from the point that it tripped, which is roughly around here, there are multiple points where it came up above the tripping price. It wasn't consistent. It was back and forth, but again, over the period of from 12:21 to roughly 118, 120. So we're talking almost an hour of time where it was up above its tripping price on a regular basis. It's just not strong. So that itself means this is not a strong stock, but it did jump up multiple times above its tripping price, which is opportunity-wise positive. Indicators, yeah, you can see it came up, but basically just jumping back and forth. So volume-wise, not strongly, at least in general. MACD came up, and you see this afternoon period, it was dropping, but you see the end of day or late afternoon, it was coming up again. DI, you see it came up, moving sideways for the most part, and then the day, and same thing. Bollinger Band came up and moving sideways. The stock technically was moving positive, just not strongly positive, which somewhat kind of like mimics the price activity. Next trade is BCRX. That's BioChrist Pharmaceuticals Incorporated. Tripped at 1:20:33 p.m. at a price of $14.54. It was a short sell. It closed the day at 14.24, down 2.26%, and you see it's down 1.33%, so it's continuing to drop. And just looking at the early morning activity on the markets, they are down also. They were down yesterday, and they're down also again today. So we've had 2 bad days, at least pre-market wise. Yesterday the stock markets were down fairly consistently. Okay, so let's just take a look at the indicators. Yeah. Volume, you can see at the point where it tripped, it was just moving down volume-wise. MACD, you can see it came down, recovered a little bit mid-afternoon, and then dropped again. DI showing pretty much the afternoon consistently in negative direction itself, and Bollinger Band, yeah, it's just dropping. That stock definitely was moving down. Next trade is HIMX, I think. Yeah. HiMax Technologies. Tripped at 1:40:10 p.m. at a price of 11.88. It was a short sell. It closed the day at 12:04, down 5.12%. So it recovered after its tripping. So we have to see if there's any point where it came up 140. Unfortunately here. Well, here, no, it looks like it's still continuing to drop after it went down 180, 1180, 1185, 85, 84, 90, 86, 84, 89, yeah. So we're, again, it's somewhat like the other trade where it came down and basically was bouncing back and forth around the tripping price, but it did drop multiple times below the tripping price, which to me is multiple opportunities. So we got almost another hour there of positive results that could have been achieved, even though you can see the stock, though, at the end of the day, afternoon period, it recovered. So let's see what the indicators are showing. OBV, yeah. See, you came down, you see this end of the day here where it was jumping back up, but you can see it's somewhat chaotic. MACD, so it came down, and you see the afternoon period where it recovered. End of the day, though, it was dropping. DI, again, same thing. You can see where it dropped, where it tripped fairly heavily, and then moved sideways. And that's pretty much what Bollinger Band did. It came down this period here where it was down below its tripping price, and then recovered at the end of the day. Technically, stock was negative in general, but end of the day, though, it looks like it was recovering. Next trade is GKS. That's Jinko Star Holdings Incorporated, or excuse me, Limited. Tripped at 2:10:04 p.m. Had a price of 38.17. It was a buy. It closed the day at 37.48, down 9.05%, and making a little bit of a recovery here early morning, which is good. That if it's making a recovery early morning with this market's down, that there has some opportunity for it to move positive. But again, it dropped, and we got to see if there's any opportunity here. So roughly around here, 210. So roughly around here, 38.29. 38.16, 38.18. Okay, so we say 210 to roughly to 310. So another hour, or just around, and just, well, maybe 3/4 an hour, where there was multiple points where it jumped up above its tripping price, which indicates positive, results. But again, as you see, the markets yesterday were somewhat very movement-wise difficult in general to really push it beyond its point of tripping, which again, this is another one where it tripped. It stayed there for a bit of time. It moved up below it multiple times after that. In the day, though, this one just dropped out, so it wasn't able to maintain that rise on a stock that actually opened below its tripping price. So it did make a recovery, just not strong enough to maintain it. And volume-wise, you can see here in the afternoon where it came up, and then the end of the day period it closed down. MACD, same thing, came up, not as strong. Average is not too strong, but it did come up and just tapered off a bit. So at least that's a good point, that it's not too strong. And DI, same thing, came up, and you can see this is the afternoon period where negative is starting to come about. There was a little bit of backwards and forth, which is kind of like what you see with the Bollinger Band, just showing basically sideways movement. And at the end of the day, it was dropping off. So the stock technically, by the end of the day, looks like it was moving negative again. But during the period where it tripped, it was moving positive. So it was It was a positive operation during that time. Next stock is COP. That's ConocoPhillips. Tripped at 3:20:58 p.m. at a price of 52.27. It was a short sell. Closed the day at 52.44, up 2.04%, or excuse me, down 2.04%, and that's not a positive, so we'll leave it at that. And you see the end of the day volumes moving up, averages moving up, directional indicator showing up, volume showing up. So this stock here during its tripping period just shows that at the end of the day this stock was recovered even though it was down from previous close. The stock technically was down, but it was finishing in a positive direction. So that's 6 out of 6 trades that are positive. It's a bit of a tricky day though, because as you can see there was a lot of stocks that were very, 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 complicated in the aspects of their movement, complicated in the aspect of, not moving in a strong push in the direction that they tripped. As you can see, they were bouncing back and forth. They tripped, but they somewhat maintained the price around that trip. And the good thing is there, they came up or went down below that tripping price on a regular basis, which for me, that's positive. I'm not looking that it has to be above its tripping price for a period of time, just that over a period of time that it moves consistently above its tripping price or below its tripping price. And that's what it did. So that's why those stocks were positive. But again, they're tricky stocks, so that if you're monitoring directly yourself, you have to really pay close attention to them. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.